Wasabi guys, coming back at y'all with another deck tech. This is another patron requested deck tech for Rhino, one of my awesome patrons. He wanted me to sort of help him out with a pirate EDH commander deck. The commander is going to be Admiral Beckett Brass, one of the newer ones from Ixalan, and we should definitely be getting some more support with the next set coming out in January, Rivals of Ixalan, but that is some time away from now. But what we have right now is a pretty fun casual deck. I wouldn't say it's anything too serious. Very similar to how dinosaurs are playing right now in Commander. Gishath is a pretty strong option in theory if we had some more dinosaur support for that deck, whereas with this deck it is also very similar. The problem is if we had more awesome pirate support, a deck like this would work better and constructed, but a lot of what we have is limited playable, so we have to make that work. So what we want to take advantage of is just Anthem type effects, so let's just read off what she does. Other pirates you control get +1/+1, and at the beginning of your end step, you gain control of target non-land permanent controlled by a player who was dealt combat damage by 3 or more pirates this turn. So it is very flavorful when you consider that's kind of how pirates work. They kind of just ambush you, they take control of your ship, something like that, and they usually overwhelm you with numbers, and they're very aggressive, and that's kind of what we want out of pirates. We want them to be aggressive. So we're going to try to make that work. There are some other themes in here, such as the treasure synergy, as well as just synergizing with forcing your opponents to sacrifice permanents. There are definitely creatures in here that make your opponents do that. Let's go over the deck. As far as mana ramp goes, you pretty much know what you have to do. Just play some good signets for mana fixing and play Soul Ring at the bare minimum. That's pretty much it. But we also have some good synergy with Tribal, Based Ramp, and Pillar of Origins. Just a 2 mana artifact that can tap for mana just to cast a creature as long as it's a pirate. Now we move on to the actual pirates. There are a ton of them. They're little, so you have to keep that in mind. This is more based around aggression, dealing as much combat damage as we possibly can. There's only one creature in here that's like above CMC 5, so not a big deck, but hopefully we can get off to a decent start and maintain a lead. That's what we hope for, but this is pretty much a casual build, so we're not looking for anything super fantastic yet out of pirates. But we do have some good one-drops. We have Cloud Pirates, which is one of those old school portal cards. Just a 1/1 flyer for 1, pretty basic. Then we have something that's even better. We have Siren Storm Tamer, another 1/1 pirate for 1. That can essentially sack itself to protect another creature from being targeted. That's pretty good. Deadeye Tracker has an activated ability, allows you to exile cards from graveyards to explore. Rigging Runner has a raid trigger, gets a +1/+1 counter if you can trigger it. Also has First Strike, so it's a 2/2 First Striker for 1, ideally. Then you have Talus Explorer. It's a 1/1 flyer for 2 mana, but when it ETBs, you get to look at your opponent's hand. You have Daring Saboteur. Pay mana to make it unblockable, and whenever you deal combat damage, you get to loot. We have Shipwreck Looter. If you can trigger the raid, you get to loot. Pretty solid. You have Stormfleet Aerialist. Has a raid trigger that you can put a +1/+1 counter on it. So you get a 2/3 flyer for 2 mana. You have Skyship Plunderer. Whenever it deals combat damage, we can manipulate counters. Dire Fleet Hoarder. Whenever it dies, we get a treasure token. Fathom Fleet Captain. It has Menace, and whenever it attacks, we get to pay 2 mana and create a 2/2 black pirate creature token with Menace as long as we control another non-token pirate. You have Kitesail Freebooter, can steal a non-creature, non-land card. You have Carry Zev Skyship Raider from Aether Revolt. Basically, when it attacks, we get a little monkey token. Pretty cool. You have Wily Goblin. When it ETBs, we get a treasure token. You have Dire Fleet Captain. It gets pretty big if we have other pirates that are also attacking as well. Metallic Mimic is very good in tribes just in general. It can get your other pirates pretty big. Get +1/+1 counters on them. Solid. It's also considered a pirate too when it's on the battlefield. Then we have Siren Lookout. Pretty solid flyer. It explores, so it can get bigger. Then you have Rishadan Cut Purse. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a permanent unless they can pay 1 mana. So hopefully your opponents are tapped out when you play it. Talus Warrior, it can't be blocked. Super good in this deck. We want to deal combat damage with as many pirates as we can. Then we have Thassa, God of the Sea, to kind of help make our creatures unblockable, and we also get the Scry as well. They have Ruin Raider, almost like a Dark Confidant, but you have to trigger raid. in order to get the little Dark Confidant trigger at your end step. Always good when you can accelerate in your decks, even if you end up losing life for doing it. The quicker this type of deck is, the better. It is very easy to run out of gas when your creatures aren't that expensive. You have Captain Lannery Storm. Whenever she attacks, you get a little treasure token, and whenever we sacrifice a treasure, she gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So it can get pretty big. Then we have Lightning Grid Crew. Pretty interesting card. You can untap it whenever you play a pirate spell, so it has that nice little synergy there. Very solid that you can do that to each player. We have Adaptive Automaton. Gives an anthem to our other pirates. Pretty solid. It's also considered a pirate itself. Then we have Rishadan Footpad. Whenever it comes into play, each opponent sacrifices a permanent unless he or she pays 2 mana. Then we have Kokemsa Pirates. Whenever it attacks and isn't blocked, you may have it deal no damage, and instead you get to gain control of that player's artifact instead. Pretty solid. And then Deadeye Quartermaster. When it enters the battlefield, we get to search our library for an equipment or vehicle card. We get to reveal it and put it into our hands, and then shuffle our libraries. Pretty good if we want to get a Lightning Grease. That's always nice in Commander, as well as just any other equipment. We do play one vehicle in the deck, which I will mention later. Then we have Dreamcaller Siren. It has Flash. Flying, it can only block creatures with flying. And when it enters the battlefield, if we control another pirate, we get to tap up to 2 target non-land permanents. Pretty good if we want to swing in uncontested. Then we have Fathom Fleet Cutthroat. When it enters the battlefield, we get to destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Then we have Captivating Crew. Has an activated ability that allows us to kind of active treason another opponent's creature. And then Rowdy Crew, which is kind of like card draw, but we have to discard 2 cards at random. Not very good, which is kind of why we need more support for pirates. Cards like these are okay for now, but they could be definitely problematic if you want to do more than just have a casual game with this deck. Then we have Hostage Taker. Pretty good card in Standard. Also going to be pretty decent in Commander as well. You have a ton of awesome creatures in this format that you can take control of. You get to cast it. Pretty good. You have Rishadan Brigand. Kind of like the same thing as the other Rishadan Pirates. When it comes into play, each opponent sacrifices a permanent unless they can pay 3 mana. And it can only block creatures with flying. Kind of the theme here with our creatures. You have Prosperous Pirates. When it enters the battlefield, we get 2 treasure tokens. Then Pirate Ship. Can deal 1 damage to target creature or player. You do, however, need an island or else it's sacrificed, so that's a downside. And it can only attack a player if they control an island, which is also another downside. But it's pretty good, just something that sits on the field and it can just start pinging players or creatures, whatever you need. Nice flavor. Why not? It's a pirate ship. I mean, come on. Then we have Dire Fleet Ravager, this badass orc dude. When he enters the battlefield, each player loses a third of his or her life rounded up. That is pretty good. Late game especially. You want to get in some more damage. You want to kill them quickly. This is the type of card to kind of help you do that. And then Stormfleet Arsonist is kind of similar to the Rishadan Pirates, where it can kind of force your opponents to sacrifice a permanent, but it can only force one opponent to. And that's only if you can trigger raid. So another pirate that I would definitely consider replacing. And then Angrist Marauders. Kind of like the Gisela Blade of Gold Knight type of effect here, where we just want to deal double the damage with our pirates. Just we want to be super aggressive, and a lot of the pirates we do have are kind of on the smaller scale, so if we can deal more damage with them, that's better. And also consider a pirate too. Why not? Now we have some other cards here, kind of synergize. We have 2. They're both artifacts. Treasure Map and Fell Flagship. Treasure Map synergizes because it can allow you to scry, as well as give you the obvious treasure tokens once you get enough counters on it. That's always nice. It's not a big theme, but it's always a nice sub-theme that you can have with a deck where you get more mana. And the whole treasure token thing, while it doesn't absolutely help pirates out, it is a fun little theme for flavor purposes. It is very much a casual deck. And then we have Fell Flagship. Gives your pirates +1/+0. And whenever it would deal combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. So typical, pirates like to loot. Why not have more looting effects? Now we go on to other artifacts that are very good in tribal-based decks. If Herald's Horn can make our pirates cost cheaper, as well as give us a little upkeep, sort of top deck fixing effect. That's nice. Door of Destinies. Whenever we cast them, they get bigger over time, depending on the amount of counters on Door of Destinies. Coat of Arms, just going to make all our pirates bigger, depending on the number of pirates. It's nice. Vanquisher's Banner gives an anthem to our pirates, as well as it's just going to allow us to draw a card whenever we play a pirate, which is pretty nice as well. Then Obelisk of Erd, the fact that it has Convoke means we can get it out a lot earlier. It gives yet another good anthem effect of +2/+2 to all of our pirates, making them more intimidating. Because as I said before, they are rather small, so why not have more anthems? Then we go on to some sorceries. We have March of the Drowned, which in this deck is super powerful. Just 1 black mana, you get to return 2 pirates from your graveyard to your hand. That is very good from the common level of one of the newest sets. Yeah, pirates aren't very strong, and it's a big reason why it might not be seeing a ton of play, but it's a very good card. I mean, 2 pirates from your graveyard, it helps you stabilize, helps you recover. Why not? Open into Wonder is a nice way to make our pirates unblockable, and we also get to draw cards off of whenever they do combat damage, so that's pretty nice too. Patriarch's Bidding allows us to return all our pirates from our graveyard to the battlefield, as well as our opponents if they happen to be playing tribal-based decks. Hopefully they're not, but if they are, they also get to benefit off of it. But, Patriarch's Bidding is mainly supposed to benefit you the most, because you're the tribal player. You have Kindred Charge, which is absolutely amazing. I love this card in tribal decks, such as Vampires, because it's going to make your deck more aggressive. It's also good in Dragons, too, if you want to make a super aggressive push with Dragons. But what it's going to do, it's going to make token copies of each creature you control. The legend rule still does apply, so you can't use it on Admiral Beckett Brass, but you could use it on your other pirates that are non-legendaries as well, and get just a huge push there, deal a lot more damage than you normally would. And then Insurrection is the ultimate push-through card. You gain control of all their creatures. They have no blockers left. You untap them, they all gain haste, including your creatures too, so that's nice. And you can just swing in for a ton of damage. Trigger Admiral Beckett Brass if you don't outright kill them, so pretty good card. We only play 1 counterspell in here for now, and it is kind of to go along with the whole treasure theme, and that is Spell Swindle. We also play another card in here that does synergize with it a little bit more, but Spell Swindle is essentially like a mana drain for 5 mana, but you also get the colored mana off the treasure token, so it is kind of better, but it is 5 mana compared to just 2 mana. It is what it is. It's mainly in here now because for just a casual theme of pirates, why not just get more treasure tokens? Pretty good. Then we have some good enchantments in here. We need more speed in the deck. We need to see more cards over the course of the game. So we play cards like Rhystic Study and Phyrexian Arena just to help us out a bit more. But we also play Coastal Piracy, which is another good flavor card. I mean, Coastal Piracy, it has pirates in the artwork. Why not? You get to draw cards whenever you deal combat damage with a creature you control. Pretty good. And then the last card I have to mention here is Revel in Riches, because if we happen to have treasure tokens, 10 treasure tokens at the beginning of our upkeep, we win the game. Aside from the fact that we just get treasure tokens from our pirates and when they enter the battlefield, when they attack, off of their triggers, anything like that, we can always kill creatures during combat. We can always hope that your opponents kill their creatures, give you more treasure tokens. It's not perfect, but hopefully it's something that will get better as we get more support from Rivals of Ixalan. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this deck tech for Rhino, one of my awesome patrons. Thank you again, dude. You are awesome. But yeah, I mean, I like the deck, the concept of it. I mean, it's pretty interesting. It's not anything. It's sort of like Dinosaurs. It's not going to be super competitive, so if you go into playing this deck thinking that you're just going to surprise everybody with this janky little combo deck, it's really not janky by the standards that some people can pull off these crazy combos. There aren't really any crazy combos in the deck yet. It's just one of those combat-based decks where you can just expect to gain control of permanents. Nothing more, nothing less. That's about it. And even that, it is a little bit more difficult. You have to deal combat damage with 3 pirates in order to get that trigger at the end step. And this is also having her on the battlefield too. So it's sort of like one of those scenarios where everything has to go right in order for you to just go crazy and get a ton of value off of her. But she does also give your pirates an anthem, which is pretty underrated. So anyway, If you want to get in on this Patreon thing, just check it out. The link will be in the description below. I can do a deck tech for you or a top 10 video. So far, I've just been doing deck tech, so I'm thinking that's what's going to be going on here for the future. I don't know if the guys want me to do any top 10s or not. But yeah, just check out my Patreon. Link will be in the description below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I do a ton of other deck techs, top 10 videos, things like that. But anyway, you'll have a wonderful day. Void here signing off.